Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Srivastava and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video we write a Java code to create and play the game of 2048 on Java Swing GUI. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel because out of 100 viewers, only 3 to 5 are subscribed. More than 95% of my audience is not subscribed and a subscription is very important. So please do subscribe to my channel. So let's begin. So in this video, we create the Java code to play the game of 2048 in Java Swing GUI. Okay. So when we are done with our GUI, we will have something like this to play with, which is pretty cool. Okay. Let me see if I can get to any higher score any quick. Okay, so this is the third video in this series. In the very first video we saw how to create a functional text-based command line game of 2048 that we can play on console/command line. The output is on standard output and the input is on standard input. Okay, that was the first video in the series. In the second video of the series, which was the previous video, we saw how to refactor the code that we wrote to play the game into classes so that we can reuse the same code here in this GUI. Okay, so let me just play the game from the previous code, right? So this was the main. We had controller, model and view. Okay, we use the model and controller from this very code into our current version. Okay, so let me just run this. Okay, so this is the board. So right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up, up, right, up, right, up, right, right, up, right, up, right, right, up, right, 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 left, down, up, right, left, right, up, left, up, right, up, up, left, up, right, left, up, right, up, right, right, up. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this game. All right. So from the previous version, we use the controller and the model. We make few changes in the controller and we create a new view which will basically be a GUI. So that's why in the previous video I wanted to decouple input and output so that we could reuse the same code in a GUI version as well. Okay, and in the next video we create a Java FX GUI, and in the video after that we use FXML and scene builder. Okay, so the first thing is I copy the model and the controller. I copy the model and I copy the controller. Okay, so controller will have an error because we don't have input output. We'll fix this. Okay, let's start by creating a view. So I am going to create a new package. Okay, view. Okay, which will have my view class game of 2048 view. Okay, and this will be extending the JFrame. All right, so let me try to explain what a JFrame is and how do we plan to create a GUI. Okay, so the main window that you see on the GUI is your JFrame. Okay, so this JFrame contains one content pane which occupies this JFrame. Okay, which will be a JPanel. Okay, you can decide on the layout of this panel. For us, this is going to be a border layout. I'll just explain in a moment what a border layout is. Okay, so we have a frame, we have a JPanel inside it, and then we have two more panels inside this. One will be to show the score on top. So we will have something like score, which will be showing the score. We haven't done the scoring so far, but it is a very trivial amount of code. We'll add it. Okay, so we'll have something to show the score, and this wheel has something to show the 4x4 board. Okay, all right. So this is going to be our top panel. Okay, this is also a JPanel. So JPanel, which is basically our main panel, contains two more panels, another JPanel, which is top panel. Okay, and this is going to be a center panel. Okay, JPanel, center panel. Okay, so we can have a simple flow layout for top panel. Okay, flow layout basically adds controls on the panel from left to right, and if the line is full, it moves on to the next line. Okay, in a simple flow left to right. we have to keep a grid layout for our central panel, so with that we have a 4x4 grid for the board. Okay, now each of these boxes you can choose to have a button, or you can choose to have a label. I'm going to choose a label. Okay, so JPanel, if the center panel has a grid layout, okay, so this has n into n labels, okay, to show basically 2 4 16 2048 and so on, whatever is the number on the board. Okay, and blank for a blank tile. Okay, you do not show 0, you just say blank tile. Okay, all right. So this top panel, this is also going to be a label, because a panel must have something to show the this is also going to be a label to show the score. Okay, label for score. Okay, so this is all basic design of the GUI game that we'll have. We have the main frame, which contains one content main panel, which is contains two panels, top panel, center panel. Main panel has a border layout, top panel has flow layout, center panel has grid layout, and the grid is made up of labels where each label will show a number. Okay, and we'll see how to add borders and how to add colors to the label side, just as it is in the actual game of 2048. Let's just create this basic GUI first. So in my code, I'm going to add a constructor public game of 2048 view. Okay, I'll set size, set title, set default operation on close, set resizable, and set visible. So let me just set the title. Okay, I'll say game of 2048. Okay, setting the size, I'll say set size new dimension width and height. Okay, now how much width and height to take? So if you go back to our drawing, okay, so if my width of my tile is L, okay, number of tiles in the row are board dot size. Okay, so if the width of the tile is L, I have number of tiles as board dot size, so this is going to be L into board dot size, and we can take some extra width as well. Okay, so I take constants. Okay, constants. All right, public static final int tile width that I take as 100. Okay, similarly I take tile height as 100. Okay, all right, so using tile width and tile height, I can calculate my window width and window height. I can say window width. Okay, the width of my JFrame is going to be tile width, okay, into board dot size, okay, and plus extra say 50. Similarly, my window height is going to be HEIGST tile height into board dot size plus a little extra 100. Now I'm keeping this more than 50 because I need some space for my score in the vertical height as well. Okay, so window width, window height. Okay, set default operation on close. Basically, what do you want the program to do when you close the window? I want Java program to be terminated when my window is closed, so I say set default operation on close JFrame dot exit on close. I want to terminate my Java program if I click on the cross button, if I close my GUI window. Set resizable to false because I don't want the user to resize the window, and I set visible to true. Okay, so in my main, let me just create a view and show that we have a basic JFrame equal to new game of 2048. Okay, running this, we get errors because we have errors in the controller, but that does not matter, we'll still get a view. So this is how our window looks like, basic JFrame. Okay, all right, so in this we need to add the score on top. If we look at our diagram, we need to add the score on top, and we need to add these labels. Okay, 4x4, I mean board dot size into board dot size labels. Okay, all right, we go back to our view, and that is what setting default close on operation meant. When you close this window, the program terminates. Okay, now to add these panels that we mentioned, we have another function, set up the view. So setup. All right, and I say private void setup. All right, so going back to our diagram, we need a main panel, top panel, center panel. Okay, the main panel, the top panel, the center panel. Okay, add the top and the center panels to main panel. Okay, set this main panel as the content of this JFrame. Okay, so our main panel is going to be JPanel, main panel equal to new JPanel with a border layout, new border layout. Okay, I'll just explain in a moment what a border layout is. We have JPanel, top panel, new JPanel, top panel has new flow layout. Okay, flow layout is adding controls from left to right, and if the line is full, it moves on to the next line. But in our case, we'll just have the score in the top panel. Okay, so the flow layout is works perfectly fine. Okay, then we have JPanel center panel equal to new JPanel, and this has new grid layout. Okay, how many rows, how many columns? Board dot size and board dot size. Okay, then add top and center panels to the main panel, which has a border layout. So border layout basically works like this. So example, if this is your panel, okay, border means north, south, west and east. Okay, and center. Okay, so border layout has 5 constants where we can add panels inside this. Okay, we need top panel in the north, grid, I mean center panel in the center, and that's what we do. We add to main panel dot add. Okay, we add top panel to border layout dot north. Okay, and similarly we add center panel dot center. Okay, semicolon semicolon. Okay, then set content pane is main panel. Okay, when I run this, we will really not see anything different. So let me just run this. Okay, it looks the same. Okay, because we just added panels, we have not added any controls that we can view. So we can add by adding the score on top panel. So I'll say the label to show the score. Okay, so private j label score. Okay, so label score is created right before top panel equal to new j label with text score 0. Okay, and top panel dot add label score. Okay, now when we run this, we see a score. Okay, score 0. We haven't done scoring in our code, but it is very trivial, and I'll show you how to add this. Okay, moving on to the center panel. A center panel is made up of labels. Okay, and into n labels where n is the board size. Okay, so I create a custom class which extends the label. So I say private class game of 2048 tile. Okay, extends j label. Okay, and I'm making this a custom class. I'll just show you how, because I should be able to change the number on this tile, and the background color of the tile should change based upon the number. Okay, and I should also be able to have a blank tile. Okay, that functionality I can add when I have my own class. Okay, so let me just create the constructor. Okay, constructor creates a blank tile. So public game of 2048 tile. Okay, you call the superclass constructor blank, and you want whatever number is displayed on this label to be in the center. Okay, now I need tiles, so the 2D array of tiles. Okay, very similar to the 2D array of integers that we had for the board. So each integer on that 2D array location will correspond to each tile on this 2D array of tiles. Okay, so private game of 2048 tiles. Okay, and we created tiles before the center panel. Let's say new game of 2048 tile. How many tiles? Board dot size into board dot size. Okay, now when you create a 2D array of tiles, all these locations will be null. You will have to create each individual tile, and we add the tile to the grid layout as well. Okay, so I use a nested for loop equal to 0, I less than board dot size I plus plus for int j equal to 0, j is less than board dot size j plus plus. Okay, then we say tiles of I comma j is new game of 2048 tile. Okay, because when you are initializing the board, okay, all the tiles are blank. Okay, and every time the board will change, the board will be updated, and so the tiles will be updated as well. So we'll just see how. Okay, and then we also add this created tile to this grid layout. So we say central panel dot add tiles of I comma j. Okay, all right, let me see if we can view anything. We still don't have any view. If I make all these labels as 0, you will see a view. Okay, all right, so let me just add some more code so that the tile looks the way we want. So set the size. Okay, so set preferred size, new dimension, width and height. Width is going to be tile width, tile height. Okay, let's see how this looks now. Okay, then we want set the border. Okay, so currently we have our view like this. Okay, now the colors that we want on our view should be as close as possible to the original game, and the original game looks like this. Okay, so let me just add borders on the tile and let's see what kind of a view can we get. Okay, so I'll say set the border. So set border. Okay, so border factory dot create line border with a color and thickness. So color is thickness is going to be 3, and color I have already chosen so that it matches. So I say new color and RGB values. Okay, and I have to import color. Okay, let's see what kind of a border we get now. Okay, now this is a little closer to the actual color we have. Okay, all right, going back to the code, closing this window. Right, so this was the color for the border. Now I want different colors for different numbers, and for that I've already taken color constants. So I'll say colors. Let me just copy the constants. Right, we can also make these as private stack. We not to be used outside this class, so this is okay as well. Okay, so we have a color for a blank tile 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 61, 28, 255, and 2048. Okay, you can add more colors if you want. Okay, if you're planning to play beyond 2048. Okay, so we have to change colors. Okay, for the label for different numbers. So I add a function public void set number. Okay, int n. So this will be accepting a number 2 to 2048, including 0 for blank tile, and setting the number and the background color based upon this color. Okay, so let me just set the background color to blank. Okay, set background. Okay, which is going to be color blank tile. Okay, okay, let's see what we get. Oh, there is no change. So I did not set opaque for the color to be visible. Set opaque to true. Okay, now you will see the blank tile background color, which is very similar to our actual game. Okay, going back to the code, closing this window. Okay, a set number will take the number and set the number on the label. Okay, and set the background color. Okay, so if none is 0, we don't want 0 to be visible, we want blank, so we set text to blank. Else we want the number to be visible, so we say set text to blank plus n. Okay, setting the background color, so I can use a switch case, switch n. Okay, we have case 0 for set background color blank tile and break. Okay, similarly we have case 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 255, 12, 2014. Okay, all right, so case 0, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, and 2048. Okay, you can code beyond 2048 if you want, for 4096 and 8192 and all. Okay, so this is color 2, color 4, color 8, color 16, color 32, color 64, color 128, color 256, sorry, color 512, color 1024, and color 2048. Okay. All right, let me just hard code some values. So test the colors. So just to test the background colors, and we'll remove this later. Okay. So I'll say tiles of 0 0. When I say set number to 2, it will change the text to 2 and will change the background color for 2. So similarly for 1 2 3, we can check for 2 4 8 and 16. Okay, then we can have the next row for 1 1 1 1 1 32 64 128 and 256. Okay, and then we have 512 1024 and 2048. So third row, set number 512 1024 and 2048. Okay. Alright, this is just hard coding just to test the background colors. Nice. This is how it will look like when we are playing our game. Okay. We can change the font and size as well. So maybe just change and set the font once when the object is created. Set font. Okay. New font. Okay. We can keep this serif. We can keep font dot bold, and we can keep the size as 40. Let's see what we get. Okay, nice. We have zeros. Let's just get rid of zeros. Okay, we don't want zeros, we just want blank tiles. Nice. Okay, all right. So if I set any of these tiles to 0, okay, dot set number 0, okay, it will be a blank tile. Okay, because we set tiles 1 2, second row third tile 2 2, and that's what we set blank tile. Okay, all right, commenting this out. All right, so we are able to have a n into n size board that is visible with different background colors and the numbers. All we need to do is now take input from this window, pass it to the controller, and the controller will send the updated board to us. So we can have a function to update the board. Public void update board takes a board object. Okay, and as I told you, this 2D array of tiles corresponds to the 2D array of integers that we had for the board. So the ij tile will show the number for location ij on the board. Okay, so all I have to do is now iterate this 2D array and set the ijth tiles number to board of ij. Okay, and I can get the board as int board is board object dot get board. Okay, now pass the input from the user the controller. Okay, so this view will need a reference to the controller, so we say the reference to the controller. Okay, because view should be able to tell the controller that user has pressed left, right, up, down. We use arrow keys in this case. We can also use WSAD. We'll see how. We use arrow keys to pass in the input left, right, up, down, and that is a move that is passed to the controller. Okay, which passes it to the game and gets a response from the game. Okay, so private game of 2048 controller, game of 2048 controller, and we need a method to init the controller. Once we have the view, public void init controller game of 2048 controller, game of 2048 controller. This dot game of 2048 controller is game of 2048 controller. All right, okay. Now to take input from the user, we are working on arrow keys and WSAD keys, so we need a key listener. So add key listener, new key listener. Okay, and we code key pressed. Okay, on up arrow key pressed. Okay, on down arrow key pressed. Okay, on down arrow key pressed, on left arrow key pressed, and on right arrow key pressed. Okay, these are the 4 inputs we take. Okay, so we say if e dot get key code, okay, equal to key event. Okay, for up we have vk up. Okay, all right. Similarly we have vk down. Okay, similarly we have vk left, and similarly we have vk right. Okay, all right. So in the previous version of the controller, we were getting move from the input, user input, right? Typing WSAD, and move was one of, if we go to the model, move was one of WSAD. Okay, and that is what we exactly pass to the controller. So in my controller here in this version, I am going to say, okay, the method to take input from the view. Okay, so public void handle user input and char move. Okay, so we actually pass the move made in the view, okay, as the char move. So I say game of 2048 controller dot handle user input, and we say game of 2048 for up move up. Okay, similarly move down left and right, move down left and right. Okay, then we'll also see we can have a to do add for keys WSAD. Okay, so in our controller I can simply say this out, input move is plus move. Okay, so we can test this by okay, so we need to comment this to test. Okay, all right. Okay, we don't need this input. Okay, okay, so in my main I basically, one second, let me just create the model. Okay, game of 2048, game of 2048 equal to new game of 2048, because right now in this view, okay, we have not called this function anywhere. Okay, so game of 2048 controller is null, so we need to actually initialize controller in the view, and then only we can test. Okay, the arrow keys, the input from the arrow keys. So create model, create view, uh, create controller. Okay, game of 2048 controller, game of 2048 controller equal to new game of 2048 controller, set the controller to the view. Okay, dot init controller. Okay, now then I run this. Okay, and I press arrow keys. Okay, I will see print statements on the console, because this game of 2048 view is handling the key pressed here and then passing the corresponding move to the controller here, which is simply printing the move. Okay, so when I say right, you say D, W, A, S, and so on. Okay, all right. I have not coded WSAD, so that is not being handled, but the arrow keys are being handled. Okay, so the input from the view is being passed correctly to the controller. Okay, all right, now we need to handle the input and pass the response back to the view. So we need a view, and this is what I actually explained in the previous version of the code, that output and input classes have static functions, okay, so we did not have the need to create objects of those classes, but we actually need a reference to the view in this controller. So I say private game of 2048 view, game of 2048 view, and just as we have initialized the model, okay, we need to have minute to initialize the view. Okay, init view, view, game of 2048 view, and game of 2048 view, game of 2048 view, game of 2048 view. Okay, and when I create my model view controller, I set game of 2048 controller dot init model and dot init view. All right, okay, going back to our controller, we get input from the user, okay, and then we need to handle this input. So we do just as we did in the previous case, we do move made based upon this move. Now when you make a move, there are two possible things happening: either the game is over or the game is not over. So if the game is over, so if game of 2048 dot is game over, okay, else if the game is not over, else, okay. If the game is not over, basically, then what you do, if the move was made, you add random 2/4, okay, and update the board as well. So we call game of 2048 view dot update board, okay, game of 2048 dot get board. All right. Else if the game is over, show the final board. So we say update board, okay, then either user wins or the user loses. If the user won, if game of 2048 dot game won, okay, else if the game lost, okay. So we need some way on our view to show the game result, okay, to show game result, okay, public void show game result, okay, string message, okay. So we use a dialog box. So I say j option pane dot show message dialog. This then we have title, which is game over, then we have a message which is message, and the type is j option pane dot information message, okay. So if you take a pointer here, we have component, message, title, and message type. Message and message first and then title. So message first and then title, okay. And then once you show this game result, we exit the program. So system dot exit 0, okay. Let's go back to a controller. We say game of 2048 dot show game result you won, else game of 2048 show result you lost. And we also called update board right after we set the view, because when the view is created, it just has the labels, it does not have it does not have the board, okay. So you have to call the update board function once after the view is loaded, okay, after the view is loaded for the first time, okay. Let us see what we get. Okay, is this similar to the original game? Kinda, okay. All right, let's just try to play. So I press the up key, nice, up key, left, up, right, right, up, left, left, up, right, 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 right. So there is no more right move, and we were able to fix this in the previous version. So I do right, and still nothing is happening. Okay, I'm pressing the right key. I am actually pressing the right key. So up, up, up. Oh, I pressed down. Up, right, up, left, right. Okay, just play the game. Okay, no more up move is possible, so no more left, no more right, so I have to do down. Okay, all right, let's see if I can lose the game quick. So the game is still not over because there is a possible move. Okay, still possible move, still now you lost, because see, now you cannot move any you cannot do any move in the game, no left, right, up, down. So you lost, and you press OK, and the game is over, and our GUI, Java Swing GUI to play the game of 2048 is working. Okay, so let me play again. I like this now. Oh, we don't have the scoring working. Let me see what we can do about the scoring. Okay, so we can say scoring in game of 2048. So the user score starts at 0 and increase when two tiles combine the value of the new tile. Okay, so two tile combines value of the two tile is happening in game of 2048, where we process move. Okay, where actually we are merging. This is basically the new tile being created. Okay, so I say update score, and for that I need a score. Okay, the score, okay, private int score, that starts with 0 and is updated every time, okay, a new tile is being created with the score of the with the value of the new tile. So whenever this two new row of I happens, I do score plus equal to new row of I, because the new tile created. Okay, all right, and I need a getter for the score, so I'll say getter for the score public int get score return score. Okay, in my view I had a to do for the score. Okay, so I need to take int score and I say uh, label score dot set text score is plus score, and we pass score from the controller, which is game of 2048 dot get score. Okay, here, here, and here. Okay, we should see the score now. Let's see if we have the right scores. Okay, so currently the score is 0. There is no tile merged yet. Okay, no tile merged yet. Okay, if I do right 2 and 2 merge, I should get 4. Nice. 2, 4 and 4 merge, I should get 8 more, so I should get 12. Okay, 2 and 2 merge plus 4 should get me 16. No score, then 20, 28, then no score, 36, then 16 is 52, and so on. Okay, so my scoring is fine as well. Okay, you guys can play and create high scores. I guess you, most of you have already done this. I'm closing this for now. Okay, let me just change the board size to, wait, let me just change this to 5 and let's see if I get the nice, you get a 5 into 5 pretty board, and the scoring is working as well. Okay, let me just play, let's play how. Okay, we have 64. Okay, very tough to lose a 5 into 5 game. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, 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 64, 128. Okay, let me just move it to this side. 512. Can I get 204? I tile quick here. No. Uh, okay. All right. So 5 into 5 works. We can also make this 6 into 6. Now that will get very interesting. So I go to board and make this 6. Okay. This will should be a bigger board. Nice. Okay. So we have a 6 into 6 game working as well. Okay. All right. So changing the board size back to 4. So let me try to win this game. Let's see. Finally, I was able to win the game. So yeah, this works just fine. Okay, and the game closes. Okay. So this was the solution to this problem, and I hope this was helpful. You like this video. So if there is any doubt or if there is any part you do not understand about this code, please let me know in the comments. I always try to answer all your comments. And you can always let me know in the comments if there's a question you want to solve or if the concept you want to discuss. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.